Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time joining us, we appreciate you being here tonight. If you are a continuing organizer and have joined us on many, many organizing calls, we appreciate you as well. Please know that we appreciate all of your comments. So if you have any questions or things you want addressed by our speakers, you can do so by hitting *3 if you're joining us by phone. You can also put comments in the Zoom as well as the Facebook and Twitter sections. So please engage with each other that way. My name is Christy Lara. I am an organizer with Our Revolution National based here out of North Texas. So we definitely have been working state to state all across the nation. We want to welcome everyone joining the call tonight and say Happy Black History Month. Of course, here at Our Revolution, as well as many progressives across the nation, we believe Black history is every day, y'all. But we will make a point to celebrate it, especially in February. And on this call, you will hear more about that as we move through the sections. If this is your first time joining us, you can put your name, what state you're organizing with, as well as what organization you organize with in the comment section so we can get to know each other a little bit more as we work through the year to elect progressives across the nation. We appreciate all of the organizing. Many of you have already begun organizing in your state for Black History Month. So please be sure to tune into those state calls so we can focus on information and events as well as organizing happening in your local area, in your town or in your city, as well as your statewide organizing. We have exceptional guests tonight. We're so excited. Of course, our very own Larry Cohen will be joining us this evening, National Board Chair from Our Revolution. So happy to have him on the call. And, two peas in the pod, Nina Turner will be joining us as well to talk about organizing and efforts that you can help with. Of course, we know Nina is running for Congress, and we're super excited to have her on the call tonight, along with Larry. It's going to be a fantastic show. Again, please make sure to put your name, what state you're organizing with, as well as what group you organize with. We like to say at Our Revolution, we organize from the East Coast to the West Coast, north to south, across the Midwest. No stone left unturned. Every progressive hand will be needed this year and through every election cycle to make sure that the progressive voice is the most presented voice. Our Revolution Ohio will be represented on this call, and we will be making sure to do a few shout outs. I see a few people in the chat. Jim Langford, Chair of PDA CFL Orlando. Welcome, Jim. Elizabeth McDavid, Asheville, North Carolina, DSA. Welcome. Eric Hall joining us from Our Revolution Birmingham. Welcome, Eric. Denise Paul Hatch from Indianapolis. Welcome, Denise. Andrew from Verona, New Jersey. Welcome, Andrew. He organizes with Our Revolution Essex. You guys are an awesome group. Good to see you on the call. New Jersey. Joan from Cypress, Texas. Welcome, Joan. Good to see you. Sally joining us from Idaho. Sid Gelb from Jalsa, and Brookline Demcom. Bruce J. from Broward County, Florida. Paul Laporte from Massachusetts. Welcome. Tatchell Samuels from Greensboro, North Carolina. Again, if this is your first time organizing with us, please make sure that you put your name as well as what state you're organizing with so you guys can get to know each other and we can see West Coast to East Coast, all of the organizing happening across the nation. Again, we're going to give the call just a couple more minutes to build. We do want to say happy, happy, happy Black History Month. Super excited to continue the organizing work of equality and justice for all. We're not only fighting for economic equality at Our Revolution, but of course, racial equality, and as some of organizers so pointedly say, racial equity. Equality isn't always equity, and so we aim to push those measures with the progressive voice and make sure that they are represented from the very top nationally all the way down to the grassroots level locally. So thank you for those that are doing that work in their town. Oswaldo Chin from Connecticut. Welcome, Oswaldo. Linda Novinsky from Our Revolution NYC, welcome. Lauren joining us from North Texas. Ben Karimi on Facebook, welcome, good to see you. Michael Conway from Our Revolution New Jersey, welcome. Daniel Kilgore from Columbus, Ohio. Let's see. Eric from Queens came to hear Moumita. Awesome. Good to see you, Eric. As we know, Moumita has an election coming up, and you will hear more from her as well as what's going on with that election later in the call. So please stay tuned. Jen from Cocoa Beach, Florida. Man, I bet you the weather is great down there. Hopefully it is. Martin Buggy is watching from Facebook. Welcome, Martin. We love to see you. Glad you're here tonight. Let's see.
And Christy, hey, we're at the top of the hour, so let's get the call going.
Okay. All right, I apologize. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, that's Christy Lara down in Dallas, Texas. And good evening, everybody. This is Mike Olis. I'm based out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And Our Revolution is nationwide, coast to coast. And you'll hear amazing speakers and activists from across the country tonight. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Monday night National Organized to Win call. Every Monday at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, we gather up, huddle up together as a national movement and talk about how we are creating together a political revolution. And as we all know, and our love tonight is the start of Black History Month. It's a time when we honor the contributions of African Americans to our country and to the political revolution. It's also a time to recommit ourselves to achieving racial justice. It's hard to believe that tonight is February 1st, 2021. We've already lived 1 month into 2021. And we are all deeply excited that Senator Sanders is now Chairman Sanders, Chairman of the Senate Budget Committee. And we'll talk on this call how we as a national mass movement will be working hard to make sure that when Chairman Sanders shows up, he has an army with him ready to push the progressive agenda. Now is our moment. Progressive policies are more popular than ever. And we have the power at Our Revolution and with our allies to win a big, bold, progressive agenda this year and beyond. And tonight, we are going to be doing something special. We'll be launching our 2021 membership drive. So we'll hear more about that in just a second. But tonight, we want you to think about becoming a 2021 movement builder, become a dues-paying member of Our Revolution. We can build a mass movement together and keeping the fight that Bernie All got us into back in 2016 as we fought together to change the country. And as we do at the top of every Monday night call, let's go into our 4-point plan to organize to win. I'm going to hand it back off to Christy in Texas.
Oh my God, Mike, our 4-point plan, which we will, repeat every time because we want to make sure that organizers across the nation stay focused. And point 1, of course, is holding Biden accountable. The work did not end in November, and we will absolutely do our best to make sure that Biden answers to the progressive voice. The truth is, Mike, we're already seeing some results from the Biden administration, but there's a lot more work to do. We need to make sure that they are, working to push progressive policy through Congress and in the end, finally signed by Joe Biden. For example, we helped organize thousands of low-wage federal contract workers to go on strike and fight for 15. President Biden has announced he will sign an executive order to raise that wage. We're super pumped about that. $15 living wage, a minimum wage, but absolutely we want to make sure. Not only that, after we highlighted Trump's broken promises to Midwestern workers, Biden picked up the issue and signed Buy American executive orders. While we've won, we're not done. We're so not done, y'all. There's so much work to do. We need to get Biden to agree with us, to go further and use his presidential power, those executive orders, to help workers unionize. Because when we organize, we win. We need your help to do that. So please, if you're able to, become a sustaining member tonight. We need to push Biden left, y'all.
Point number 2 in our 4-point plan, we have got to go out and keep on electing progressive champions to office at every level of government. And tonight we'll be joined by Senator Nina Turner, who is running for Congress in Ohio. So that is goal number 1, to get Nina elected. this year. But there is a whole host of progressive champions from school board in Oregon, from Moumita's race in New York City, from the Big Apple to Texas to the land of Lincoln to the Twin Cities to Seattle. Our revolution is not taking a year off when it comes to election organizing. We're going to go out and win some very tough races and win some easy ones too, but we're going to go out and win the tough races this year, and we're going to keep on electing progressive champions to office at every level of government. Number 3.
That's awesome, Mike. Number 3, we always say change starts at the bottom from the grassroots level. And our revolution absolutely pushes from the ground level all the way up to national. Change happens and trickles up from the very bottom. So all of the work you're doing in your community matters. In California, Washington, New York, and Maryland, our leaders are fighting to get Medicare for all at the state level. And we need your help to make sure that it happens. And in Minnesota and Michigan, our leaders are fighting climate killing pipelines.
It is we're in the streets and the halls of power fighting for progressive public policy. Number 4, we are out building a progressive Democratic Party. And that's tough work. I'm here in Indiana. It's brutal. But tonight, we have some amazing organizers in Maine and in Arizona who showed up and are transforming their Democratic Party so that it can be a vehicle of social change and be there for us in the fight to better America and create a progressive America. So that is our 4-point plan. And as I said earlier, we're launching a membership kickoff tonight. This is very serious. We want to build a mass movement. We want to be united across the country, in every part of the country. And that's why this membership drive is so important. And now I'm happy to hand off the microphone to my comrade and my revolutionary chairman, the chairman of our revolution, Larry Cohen. How's it going tonight over there in Maryland?
Okay, great to be with you and everybody else. And in just a few minutes, I get the honor to introduce Senator Nina Turner. We'll hear from her. And many of you know she was a founding board member with me of our revolution, worked on the Bernie campaign in 2015 and 16. And that's where, our board comes from. We're all people who have been involved in 2015 and 16 and 2020, but more importantly, in building local groups. And you see this membership card, and somehow Mike got to be the first one with a card. Our revolution movement builder, Mike Olis, 2021. But the backbone of our revolution are people joining local groups and also people supporting our revolution as a recurring member. Obviously, everybody on our board has done that since 2016 when we started in August of 2016. And we have thousands of members who are recurring members. Many of them a lot more than $5 a month, but we want this to be accessible to everybody. So 2020, we've heard a lot about it. It was an amazing year for our revolution. And by every measure, the number of candidates endorsed, the number that won, the amount of funding that we raised for local candidates and to help all those candidates win, the amazing staff that we have, and you're seeing them leading these calls, including Joseph Givargis, who's not on the call tonight. He's listening, but an incredible executive director. And so having the resources to have not only the full-time staff that you see on these calls, but almost every state where of the 30 states where we have active hubs has an organizer. And we need to be able to fund those people without, did we make it this week? Did we make it next month? Again, we had a great year in 2020. But we want to try to turn this into more of a sustaining situation where the core staffing, including those amazing local organizers, are accounted for by the recurring members. So we already have thousands of recurring members. Our goal in 2021 is going to be to double that number so that the recurring members at $5 a month will be funding the core program. And then other donations where, again, you've been amazing, everybody on this call, great activists. Great that you've been on these Monday night calls. Most of you have donated, but the idea would be that the one-time donations would be for the campaigns, like the work that we're doing independently in Ohio 11, where Senator Turner is running, to fund our organizer there and to fund all kinds of activity to mobilize our own members there. And that was true in Georgia, and that's true in New York City, which we'll hear from more tonight. And so the model here is the triangle that we've talked about since the beginning. And then we have the 4-point plan that is this year's strategy based on that triangle. And that triangle is to unite our issue work, which is what motivates all of us. We're in this for Medicare for all. We're in this to eliminate student debt. We're in this for decent public safety and racial justice. And we all have the different reasons that we're in there on climate change and the environmental crisis, for economic equality, economic equity. But how do we win on those issues? We win not only with issue campaigns, which are critical, but we win by electing candidates who are on the issues, and then by building a party, state by state, often county by county, fighting for a party that's there on those issues. It's not like a sports team where you root for your favorite team. We're building a party based on sustainable political activity on our issues. So these three things come together. We call it the triangle. And then you see the 4-point action plan for this year, which we've already heard twice. I won't run through it again, but it boils down to the same three sides of the issues. And in this case as well, to hold Biden and the Congress, both the Congress as well as Biden, you have a Democratic Congress, to hold them accountable that we pass on the federal level on those issues. And similarly, in many local governments, in cities and counties, we have a majority or near majority, and the goal is to hold the candidates accountable that we win on our issues, the local issues. So again, it comes back to asking you to join as a recurring member at $5 a month or more. And that is really a major goal of tonight, that we kick off that membership drive for this year, and that we try to double the number of recurring members from last year. And in doing that, the core budget will be taken care of that way. So with that, I'm going to now introduce a dear sister of mine, and she embodies why we're doing this work. And again, I couldn't have been prouder to work with her in so many ways over the last 5 years, particularly, even before that, when she helped lead the fight to defend collective bargaining in Ohio for public workers, and when she ran for Secretary of State in Ohio, but particularly in the last 5 years. On Bernie's first campaign, as a board member for our revolution, a founding member, as a member of the Unity Reform Commission, where we fought successfully to change many of the rules. There's more to go in the Democratic Party, keeping superdelegates out of the nominating process. And then as the president and full-time at our revolution, and then moving to be Bernie's full-time co-chair. There were 4 co-chairs. She was the only one who was full-time, and she anchored those co-chairs in that campaign. And now I couldn't be more excited to introduce her. And Senator Turner, this is my pleasure to have gotten to do this in December and February at our December meeting. She will be, imagine this, she will be the next member of Congress from Ohio's 11th Congressional District. And why is it that I'm confident about this? I'm confident about this because of the grassroots work in Ohio, including in CD11, including our own work there, led by organizers like Diane Morgan and Sutton, who you'll hear from in a few minutes on this call. Incredible event that they had to raise funds on Saturday for that race. And I'm confident because of who she is and what she means and how she's in the hearts of so many of us. And on this first day of Black History Month, it's quite appropriate that she's speaking to us, because for years she's taught Black history at Cuyahoga County Community College, the 4 C's, where she had gone herself and then went on to Cleveland State and got a master's degree and came back to teach there for years before being a member of the city council and a state senator. And as I said in December, just imagine, when we think about why we do this work, just imagine that when we help elect her, what she will mean in the Progressive Caucus, not just another member of the squad, that's fine, but there's 100 members of the Progressive Caucus, and the leaders of that caucus have endorsed her. And what she will mean in that caucus, and what she will mean in the Black Congressional Caucus, It's not just be there and show up. We're there to make sure we have a $15 minimum wage. We're sure that we get rid of student debt. We're sure that with Nina there, she will fight every day on the climate crisis, on the medical crisis, for Medicare for all, and for all the steps towards it that we can take even this year. And just imagine, this isn't far away. This is later this year with our work and her leadership and her amazing campaign staff. Nina Turner will take her seat in this Congress. But again, for us, she's a symbol of what we can do wherever we live. And Senator Turner, we have hundreds of volunteers making calls already. They're not just from Ohio 11. People lined up from across the country in the Slack channel and volunteering already 3 or 4 nights a week to make calls into your district. So with that, everybody wants to hear from you, not from me, but I welcome you to this call. I welcome you back again to our revolution. We couldn't be prouder that you're running for Congress.
Well, thank you, Chairman. I'm gonna have to take you on the road with me to introduce me everywhere. I feel like, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home. I'm very much at home. Mike and Christy, they do such a wonderful job of lining up what the vision is for our revolution and the four goals that you guys have. You're just really doing such tremendous work. You're continuing the work that we started almost 6 years ago now, Chair, as we look. I definitely want to give Joseph and the rest of the team a shout out as well. The board members that make up our revolution, all the great work, Chairman, that you guys are doing. And I got to give big ups to our Revolution Ohio, Diane and others, man. I love y'all so very much, laying the foundation. And I don't know if our Revolution National, Chair, you've seen some of the artwork that they've created for t-shirts and hats, and it's just amazing. They sold out already, and I'm thinking, what? I missed it. I didn't get the first batch, but hopefully I'll get in on the second batch. There's a song in the Christian tradition that says, "Love lifted me." And I got to tell you something, our revolution, you are lifting the sister. So hello, somebody. Hello, our revolution. Love lifted me. And I am definitely feeling the love from our revolution. I love the graphic or the slide that had all of the people that you all are supporting all across the country, because it does take teamwork to make the dream work. And Christy or Mike, I don't know who's controlling the slides, but I would like to go back to that slide that has all of the candidates you guys are supporting, because this is just not about me in Ohio 11th. This is about the great work that our revolution is doing all across this country, that every single candidate that you are endorsing, from people running for school board all the way to the Congress, that all of us together make the whole, that not one person can do it, but many people across this country who stand up, not just for progressive values, but will actually activate those values once they are elected. So the second point on your 4-point plan, elect progressives all over the country. Our revolution is asking for membership, and the chairman said he wants to double the membership. So let's come on and do that. Yours truly has donated to our revolution for a long time, since I was a board member, and I'm going to come on back and do that. So I am going to sign up tonight to be a sustaining member of our revolution. I'm going to make that donation. $5 is all they're asking for a month for a year. That is not a lot of money. And if you can't do the 5, do 2. If you can't do 2, do 3. Just do something. Just do whatever you can. If all of us put a little extra on our ordinary, extraordinary things can happen. They will happen. And this movement, our revolution, is fueled by grassroots donations from people like you. And we got to have money for the mission. We can't expect other folks to put a down payment on our mission. We got to put a down payment on our mission. This is worth the investment, because we're doing this for ourselves and for generations yet unborn, that we are pushing and prodding and not letting anybody off the hook. And we can't let ourselves off the hook either. So please become a $2, $3, or $5 a month subscriber to, or member. You're not a subscriber, but movement builder for our revolution. Please do that, because we need that so much. One of the highest honors of my life was not only to be one of the founding board members of our revolution, and Chairman Cohen is the one that made that call, but also to be able to lead this organization. And I am so proud of what you guys have accomplished and what you continue to do. We need more and more and more. You know, when you're good at something, people don't say stop. They ask for more and more and more and more. So you are going to be asked over and over again to do the great work that you are doing, because it never stops. When you are on a justice journey, it never stops. If you ask, when does this end? It never ends, because there's always going to be a time, a moment where freedom fighting is necessary. And we are the 21st century version of freedom fighters that have gone on before us. And we will be passing that baton to another generation of freedom fighters who will pass it to the next and to the next and to the next. And because evil never sleeps, good can never take a vacation. Can I get a hello somebody on that? Evil never sleeps. So
hello somebody.
Never take a vacation. So we will not be taking a vacation. I am so excited about what is happening on this campaign. I want to thank everybody that has signed up, that has called into Ohio 11. We know that I am running for Ohio's 11th district, but everything that a person in that Congress does, from the Senate side to the House of Representatives, impacts all of us. So we are all in this together. And I do appreciate the people from all across this country understanding that my service to Ohio 11th is also service by extension to everybody in this great nation. And as the chairman laid out, I will not hesitate. I am going to stand up for what is just, for what is right, and for what is good. I am nobody shrinking violet. I am for that. If anybody wants to know what kind of Democrat I am an Ella Baker Democrat. I am a Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm Democrat. I am a Fannie Lou Hamer baby Democrat. I am a FDR Democrat. I am a Mayor Carl B. Stokes Democrat. I am a Senator Howard Metzenbaum from the great state of Ohio baby type of Democrat. What does that mean, Sister Turner? It means this: that we who believe in freedom cannot rest. Sister Ella Baker says that, so there will be no rest. And what does that mean, Sister Turner? I'm glad you asked. It means that I can work with anybody, but working with does not mean capitulating to. Can I get a hello somebody on that?
Woo, hello somebody.
Even the people who we love and respect and admire, the grassroots must push. And the grassroots, as Christy laid out, also has to be the wind beneath our wings when we get there and talking about what the people want. As Congresswoman Barbara Jordan once said, what the people want is very simple. They want an America as good as its promise. When we are out there advocating for what the people want, we need the grassroots right there behind us, beside us, and in front of us, telling the powers that be, telling the status quo that this is, in fact, what the people want. Our revolution, you are on the cutting edge, baby. We've been at this for almost 6 years, laying a very strong foundation. The 21st century version of the progressive movement is in good hands, and we must continue to fight. As Michael said, this first day of Black History Month, very important that we reflect on the history. Black history is America's history, baby. Can I get a hello somebody? That this would not be a hegemon nation that it is today without Black Americans, without the sweat, the blood, and the tears, the force. We know what happened. You understand the history. You know, I've been listening to Brother James Baldwin a lot as of late. And one of the things that he said in the speech that he gave to Harlem, he said it wasn't bad enough, stole the Native American land. You took Africans and their descendants and you enslaved them. This is what America did this. Even before it was America, America did this. So it's one thing to have done it, and it's another thing to pretend like you didn't do it. See, hypocrisy, there's something wrong with it. And just as those two examples, whether it was the Black codes or Jim Crow, whether it's in the modern time redlining, whether it's a criminal justice system that is patently unjust, that lifts up the remnants from when Black folks were enslaved, you name it, these systems of inequality that exist, these systems of bigotry and racism and anti-Blackness, then you can attach all the other isms to it, was created by design. But guess what, our revolution sisters and brothers, just as it was created by design, it can be undone by design, and we can continue to fight for a more just, right, and good United States of America by breaking down the barriers. Black history is indeed America's history, and we are here to celebrate and to remember in power and to remember in action, lest we forget we must never forget. So I want to close my remarks with a quote from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as we just reflected on his holiday, and we're going all the way through Black History Month. And this quote right here, Chairman, was something that Norm Solomon brought my attention to. And I know of many of Dr. King's quote, but I think this quote right here, not only does it encapsulate what my campaign is about, I also believe that it encapsulates the work of our revolution and the progressive movement itself. And this one I do not have memorized yet. So here it is. Power, Dr. King said, power. And this is important because the progressive movement has to understand that it's not enough to have the right ideas, baby. We got to get the power. And that's why part of your 4-point plan is to get progressives elected, because we understand that it matters who holds the power and how they wield that power. Are they wielding that power on behalf of the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class in this country? Or are they wielding that power for big money special interests? Whose side are you on? So it does matter. Hello, somebody. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said this: power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. Baby, that's what this is all about. It's about love and justice working together to make crooked paths straight. Understanding very clearly that having the right ideas are not enough, baby. We got to get that power. And when we get that power, to wield that power in love so that we are standing against everything that does not have those two variables. And it doesn't mean that if injustice comes at the hands of a Democrat or a Republican. This is about the RT. This is about doing the right thing. This is about making crooked paths straight. This is about speaking truth to power. This is about changing the status quo. All great movements in this country pressed up against the status quo. When President FDR told his contemporaries, the big money interests of his time, I welcome your hatred. Sisters and brothers, when you are standing up for justice, the other side is going to bump against us, but we're going to bump it back. Hello, somebody. We are bumping back in love and justice and power and this movement. The chair drills it in all the time, all the time, all the time. It's good to have personalities that you like and you admire, and even in some cases love, but this is bigger than any personality. This is about the issues. And so we standing with and up for the people who understand that the issues are the driver and not the other way around. When I am elected to Congress, I am just a conduit of the issues, doing the people's bidding. And with the help of our revolution and other progressive organizations who have signed up to be a part of this campaign and to help me get to Congress, when I walk through those halls, baby, I'm taking you with me. When I stand up on the floor, I'm taking you with me. Every move that I make, I'm taking the people with me. So our revolution always, always will hold a special place in my heart. I love you guys, and we are in this together. We're going to do this thing, and we're going to show some folks that this right here is the absolute moment. This is our time of transcendence, and we have already shaken the power structure asunder. The issues that are being animated and talked about the most is because of this movement, and we have much more work to do. So we're going to take love and justice with us and continue to be the change, as Brother Mahatma Gandhi once said, that we want to see in this world. Much love, our revolution. And Chairman, I adore you.
I adore you, and it's just great to listen to you. People in the chat just raving. And as you know, we believe that we will win. We believe that you will win, and we believe that when we organize, we win.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Love to all.
You know, I quickly want to say, Nina, thank you so much, Senator Nina Turner, for being on the call, as well as Chairman Cohen. We appreciate both of you. S&T always says, with these hands. And I know y'all are feeling this, y'all. I had goosebumps on my arms. My heart is full with the mission of the issues of the progressive voice. This is progressive church, y'all. And so I want you to imagine that that basket is being passed, because we have some work to do, y'all. We have to get the progressive voice. Please become a member if you can, a sustaining member, so we can continue this work of spreading the progressive voice, getting people like Nina Turner elected into Congress. Cheryl put in the chat, we need to clone Nina. You know, I don't think we can clone Senator Nina Turner, but what we can do is get more Ninas into Congress, and that's exactly what we intend to do. We can do that if you become a sustaining member and help build the progressive movement state by state across the nation. Thank you, SNT. Thank you, Larry Cohen. We appreciate you guys being on tonight.
And Christy, we're going to go back to Ohio, back to CD11. We're going to go now to Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and Senator Turner just talked about the status quo, and you know, sometimes it's tough going against the status quo, but our revolution's up for the challenge, and we're gonna take on the establishment. We're gonna go up, take on the status quo, and make huge changes. And I want to go now to Cleveland Heights, just outside the city of Cleveland, and let's go to Sutton. Sutton, tell us about what's going on and the work you're doing with our revolution across CD11.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me. It's no pressure going after Nina. So far in CD11, we have already started off our phone banking. We've completed over 24,000 dials. We have 103 active callers. There's 490,000 callers to reach in district. So we have a little ways to go. We have recruited over 350 new volunteers just from the phone calls we've already made. We have attended the Women's March in Cleveland, Ohio with Senator Turner 2 weekends. I got to get my picture and my hello on. It was so invigorating to be out in the field at an actual event again. We are launching our Neighbors for Nina program within the next 2 weeks. We're going to be at the precinct level, getting everybody ready to be energized for Nina. We had a fundraiser on Saturday. I don't have exact numbers back, but we had 10-hour music and guest speakers, and it was a great time, and it was super successful. So we'll know the full details tomorrow, but we are already hard at work for Nina here in CD11.
And Sutton, real quick, you have these awesome T-shirts. We got our sweaters or sweatshirts. Do we have any sweatshirts left that we could, continue to sell and fundraise?
We are currently not, they're not currently available, but there may be some more coming later in the
sold them out. Fantastic.
Yes.
Great. Awesome job in Ohio. And Sutton, I think you're going to be running for office this year also. So we're behind. We'll be behind you when you run for city council there in Cleveland Heights. And awesome work. And thank you for your leadership in CD11. Cannot wait for our Neighbors for Nina to launch, where we're going to go out and build precinct organizing across the district. It's going to be fantastic, and can't wait to be there in Cleveland with you all. So let's keep on organizing.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's right,
so
Mike.
Tonight, let's go. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that ground game, that precinct by precinct organizing those precinct chairs as well as those voters. Organizers on the ground will do that. We need your help to make sure that happens, not just for Nina, but for progressive candidates across the nation. So please visit our website, to learn more about all of the progressives.
Let's go from Cleveland and CD11 over to New York City. Our revolution and New York Progressive Action Network, NIPAN, our partner in New York, we endorse a slate of candidates running for city council in New York. Most of those elections happen here this later this spring, and we endorse Jumaane Williams for public advocate and our own member Maria Ordonez for New York City Council. But tomorrow, in the middle of this blizzard, there is another special election going on for city council, and our next guest is in the running for that race, and we I've endorsed Moumita Ahmed. She's running in a special election, voting tomorrow in the middle of this snowstorm to represent Queens District 24 on the New York City Council. In 2015, Moumita co-founded Millennials for Bernie to engage younger voters, and she helped launch the New Reformers PAC to help elect progressive leaders to Democratic Party positions. She is joining us, just hours away from when the polls open in this special election. And it's probably hard to do some canvassing tonight in the snowstorm. But let's go to New York City. Let's go to Queens, and let's go to Moumita Ahmed. How are you tonight?
Hey, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. Our Revolution, NIPAN, you all are my family. I consider myself a daughter of the political revolution. So it's so good to be here. It's so good to be endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders. It's an honor of a lifetime. And it's also an honor of a lifetime to organize and run in the first ever ranked choice voting election in New York City. Something that I helped pass because I was inspired by this movement's drive and passion to change the Democratic Party, to make our voting process better, to make our democracy work for working class people. And one of the reasons why I ran is because in all of New York City, there's over 500,000 South Asians. Yet we don't have a single city council member who comes from the South Asian community. And I live in a district where I've worked in the last 5-6 years promoting Senator Sanders, whether it was canvassing for him, whether it was canvassing when I was a delegate in 2016, organizing my community over the years around the message of Senator Bernie Sanders, even made my way into Bangladeshi ethnic media to talk about our ideas, our progressive issues, and have been doing that work. And that work has led us here, our campaign here, in a corner of Queens that has never seen a revolution like this. And now people are excited. We have mobilized and built one of the most diverse and incredible coalition ever, from the Working Families Party to New York Communities for Change, Communication Workers of America, the Social Workers Union, Hispanic American Voter Association, Asian American Chamber of Commerce, New York chapter, the Jewish Vote, Muslim Entrepreneurs Association, Muslim Democratic Club of New York. I mean, it's so incredible. Our diverse coalition, it's just so diverse and incredible, just like this district. And because of this diversity, because of our campaign, the Wall Street billionaires have started attacking us, have spent over $178,000 against our race. I am also the only renter running. I live in a rent stabilized apartment. And so it was an honor to get Senator Bernie Sanders' endorsement because he talks about growing up in a rent stabilized apartment. So our campaign is about achieving housing justice for all of us, because we live in a district where 1 in 14 children are homeless. And during the pandemic, I co-founded the Queens Mutual Aid Network and helped over 2,000 families access medicine, groceries, and food at the height of the pandemic. And what I saw is just the trauma, the suffering cannot be captured. And our city council didn't do anything. They had their doors shut. Our council member was looking for their next job with the Governor Cuomo. And so it was all of us, Bernie people, progressives, organizers who sprung up in action and took care of one another, took care of our community. So that is what I'm bringing: revolution, mutual aid, resistance, resilience to this community. As a renter, standing up to the real estate developers, standing up to the police union and the fossil fuel industry. And you know what? We've just made our little campaign into a national phenomenon, because who knew it would rub a bunch of billionaires the wrong way. And I'm so proud. I feel like I'm we're making this movement proud by ruffling some billionaire feathers. And that's the way it should be. We need more people like that. That's how Bernie would want it. That's what we need. We need more people, from Nina to, all of the local candidates our revolution has endorsed. We are all ruffling billionaire feathers. And I think that's so important, because the more of us do it, the stronger our movement will be. And I'm just so grateful. If you can help, please, we are doing phone banking all day tomorrow. So even if you don't live in New York City, we are trying to get everybody out to vote. It's a special election in the middle of a snowstorm. So we have a really good chance. Senator Bernie Sanders having out his text to his supporters. Our revolution has been texting. So if all of our hardcore supporters come out, we could elect not only the first South Asian in city council, but the first woman in this district, and a renter, and a working class person who's the daughter of a fast food worker and a factory worker. Thank you. If you want, I can put my link on the chat. But that's all I had to say. I didn't really prepare like a big speech or anything.
Yeah,
Just spoke from
perfect.
my heart.
There was an article today about the Bangladeshi Bernie organizer versus the billionaire bullies, and sounds like that sums up exactly what this is what this campaign's about. So just walk us through. So tomorrow, snowstorm, we can turn out the vote and win this election, ranked choice voting. When will you take office? That coming up pretty quickly after, or there's no runoff or anything, correct? So tomorrow is must win, get the vote out, ranked choice voting.
Yeah, it's a special election, so it's nonpartisan. Anyone and everyone can vote. And then if we do win, then we immediately take office, and then we have to head into the primaries in June. So either way, we're going to be campaigning until June. So, it's not over until June, but this is a moment. Like if we get elected, it just becomes way too historic for anyone to be like, let's take down the first South Asian who just got elected. You know what I mean? So our goal is to win the special, and we could do it because, voter turnout's very low, and we have run a really strong campaign. I encourage you to visit our website, watch our really, really powerful videos. I mean, we have so many, but our first video, It's Time for Us. It's sort of like a memeified version of, well, not memeified, but it's like a version of Bernie's message of not me, us. And, my grandparents, they died in a civil war in the 70s in Bangladesh. And my grandfather, he was a martyr because he went out one night to save his neighbor. He went out because his neighbor came knocking on his door, said, it's past curfew, my 16-year-old hasn't come home. And so my grandfather went to look for him, and he never came home. And so when I watched Bernie and Queens talk about, look at someone you don't know, and ask them, are you, look at someone you don't know, and, tell them like you're willing to fight for someone you don't know. I felt like I was in the right place, like right movement, because that is the message that I grew up with, fighting for someone you don't know, willing to give up your life for neighbors and friends and community. And so that's kind of what we're bringing. So our movement is sort of like Bernie's like a spin-off of Bernie's movement, where, well, it is our movement. It's not just Bernie's movement, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's time for us. And the idea is to continue that message that Senator Sanders, right, promotes, which is that we have to be willing to fight for people we don't know. Anyways, I just wanted to share that because it's interesting context that has garnered a lot of support from Bangladeshis for Bernie, for our movement, for the progressives. So yeah, wish me luck.
Well, yes, we'll be there with you in the snowstorm. We'll help turn out the vote. We'll be there with you in June to get reelected after just a few months. So it's going to be an awesome spring and winter working with you. So thank you again so much. Let's get out the vote tonight. And Christy, back to you, as we got about 20 minutes left in this call, and we're going to talk about transforming the party and about making some donations, becoming a movement builder of our revolution. So Christy, take it away.
Yes. So for those joining us by phone, and we know thousands of you are joining us by phone, you can hit *3 to find out how to become a sustaining member of our revolution so we can continue this work as Moumita said, this is our moment in the movement, and we need your help to reach those goals. That momentum will not always be there. So please take this time to make sure that you support the movement and the work that we do, not just here at Our Revolution, but all of our endorsed candidates benefit from every dollar that you give Our Revolution. We will help those ground level organizers elect progressives at every level of the ballot. So thank you again for everyone that's already given, and we hope that you'll take that opportunity to give now. We're getting a little bit of feedback. If someone could mute, I'll give it just a moment for that to clear so we have that audio clear. But yes, please become a member. And you know, we don't just elect progressives to office, although we want that power to make sure that the progressive voice is the strongest voice. We intend to build the Progressive Party, transforming the Democratic Party into a power force for the progressive voice. And we intend to do that not just through 2021, but through 2022 and the future election cycles to come. A brief synopsis: in New Jersey, Our Revolution, Trenton, Mercer County, leader Joe Marchica joined a landmark lawsuit that argues New Jersey's ballot design gives an unfair advantage to candidates endorsed by party bosses, and they're working to make that unconstitutional. We're going to share that link with you so you can learn more about what's going on in Our Revolution, New Jersey. The California Democratic Party is holding statewide elections for assembly district delegates. They're also referred to as ADEMs. We have over 100 Our Revolution members across that state running. I saw in the chat, there's someone on the chat now from Our Revolution California working with the Housing Coalition. So thank you for that work in Cali. Let's make sure we get the ADEMs elected so that we can have the most powerful progressive voice in California. ADEMs vote on platforms, endorsements, and rules at the party conventions. The ballot deadline is Wednesday. That's the day after tomorrow, y'all. The final results will be posted next Tuesday on the 9th. Again, that's the California ADEMs election. The deadline is February 3rd. You can find out more by visiting the Progressive Delegates Network at adems2021.vote. Make sure that you visit that link. On Saturday, January 21st, the Arizona Democratic Party elected a slate of new officers, and it was a progressive takeover, y'all, in Arizona. Here to tell us about that is Brianna Westbrook, the newly elected educational coordinator for the Arizona Democratic Party. Welcome, Brianna.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be on this call with so many progressive leaders from across the country. My name is Brianna Westbrook. I'm the former vice chair for the Arizona Democratic Party. I was endorsed by Our Revolution when I ran for Congress in 2018. The truth is, progressives are not the fringe of the Democratic Party. We are the now, and we are the future. As the graphic will show here on the screen, young voters increased significantly from 2016 to 2020. And the data has shown, based on these infographics on the survey, that from Data for Progress, that the majority of these voters support progressive ideas. Progressive ideas are winning everywhere in our country. Take Florida, for example, where Biden soundly defeated Senator Bernie Sanders. It was probably Biden's biggest win of the primary states and one of his strongest showings in the primary. But even there, 55% of the primary voters said they would support a government healthcare system for all instead of private insurance. Not to mention in the general election, another progressive idea shined from the Sunshine State. 60% of Florida voters supported and passed a ballot measure to raise the raise the state's minimum wage to $15 an hour. You saw this all across the country in November, along with marijuana policy. For example, here in Arizona, New Jersey, Montana, South Dakota, all voted to legalize marijuana for adult recreational use. Heck, even here in Arizona, we even voted to tax the rich to fund our public schools. It wasn't framed like that, but that's what we did. We taxed households over $250,000 annually per year, a small tax to help fund our classrooms because they've been underfunded. It doesn't stop there. As we have seen through the years, more and more progressive-minded candidates and insurgent candidates are winning elections. Take, for example, all of the co-sponsors of Medicare for All and the Green New Deal that were on the ballot this November. Every single one, 99% of them won their re-election. So the reality is, no matter how hard the neoliberal power brokers in this party want to continue to deny the strength of the American progressive movement, it's becoming more and more undeniable that the future of the Democratic Party is progressives in all aspects. And the true fringe of the Democratic Party is the center-right Democrats. This moment in history requires major progressive reforms to prevent the economy from going off the cliff. We have 4 crises all happening at once. So just like FDR did in the 1930s, we need a big progressive future, big progressive policies. Millions of Americans have lost their employer-based healthcare. More than 40 million Americans are underinsured, and 30 million Americans are uninsured right now in this moment in the middle of a pandemic. And that is just one existential crisis. We know the threat of the climate crisis we have seen the devastation that it has caused in all of our neighborhoods, in all of our cities across this country and across the world. And we know that this world may not exist, it might not be inhabitable if we don't make bold commitments to slow down the climate crisis. So we, the progressives, need to ensure that we play in all fields. This not only means running for office and advocating for progressive issues, but this means entering the party. Some say there is no point, but let me remind you all of the primary that happened just about not too long ago. You may recall when DNC members gathered to vote on a climate debate, whether or not we would have a single issue debate. Well, that failed 222 to 137 to reject that. Can you imagine what the primary would have looked like had we had that debate? That's a great example of the spaces that we need to be in as progressives. Progressives need to be in all spaces where rules are being made. That means running for local precinct committee person, so we call it here in my state, or a state committee person, which is basically like a PC, but a bigger level that you oversee the state instead of a voting precinct, and run for leadership positions when you're within your legislative district. So you can be at the helm where decisions are being made. Because the truth is, we need to be everywhere. So I'm a strong advocate for entering the Democratic Party, bringing your friends with you, and expressing the urgency of why we need to join. Because I can tell you this, I've been active in my state party now for about 4.5 years now, and we've been able to accomplish quite a bit. Over the course of the last 2 years, we've been able to get our state committee body to fully endorse the Green New Deal, fully endorse Medicare for All, fully endorse racism as a public health crisis, fully endorse supporting balancing the federal courts, all through activism within the party. Now, what does this mean? What this means is organizers on the outside of the Democratic Party can now protest their elected officials, hold space in their offices, hold space on their conference calls, and say, hey, my state Democratic Party supports Medicare for All. Why don't you? This is the inside-outside strategy. And we need to do this in every single state. And it's prime for us to enter. Many of the spaces here in Arizona, it's simply just getting 10 signatures from people in your voting precinct to become a precinct committee person. And when you're that person, you're the block captain for your voting precinct. It is your responsibility to turn out your voting constituents in that precinct for the Democratic candidate or the Democratic cause that you're fighting for. So, like I said, it's time to join the party, join the fight, and fight on all fields for a progressive future. Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you so much, Brianna. We are thankful for your for joining us and all of the work that Arizona progressives are doing, y'all. We have so much work to do in the South and the Southwest. So we appreciate all of that work from those amazing organizers. We're also making progress, not just in the South and Southwest, but joining us is Megan from Maine. Our revolutions, like Megan Smith, Megan Smith was elected last week to be an executive committee member of the Maine Democratic Party. Megan, welcome. Glad to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be on the call with such amazing people. Going after anywhere on a call after Nina Turner's just, kind of nerve-wracking. But I'm here basically to just talk about the work that has been happening with Our Revolution Maine. We are relatively a new group. We really started organizing fully last year. So, after Bernie Sanders didn't win his primary, we took our resources to help try to transform, the party, build a progressive party in Maine. So Our Revolution Maine recruited as many Bernie Sanders state delegates after our caucus that we could find to run for positions within the party. We were very successful with that campaign. We got 39 out of our 45 endorsed candidates to run for the Democratic State Committee elected at that convention. We also got one of our 2 members, representatives to the DNC elected. We got, our Rev leadership, went as National Bernie Sanders delegates as part of the main delegation. So we were very successful with that effort, which made us think, hey, maybe we can endorse some candidates. So in 2020, we for the first time got an endorsement committee together, and we endorsed both for members of the House and members of the Senate in Maine. And we actually were successful in getting some of our candidates elected. So that was wonderful. And many of those candidates already are coming up with we already see progressive legislation happening at the House. So all of these people are very progressive and into their causes. I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought completely. But we're already seeing progressive legislation on things like the housing crisis due to COVID, with healthcare, climate change, public transportation, criminal justice. These are things that we're seeing now. And that group of people that we got elected to be members of the Democratic State Committee, that group of progressives has gone wild across the state. They are now municipal chairs. They are county chairs for their party. They are also helped to get many people, including myself, elected to higher positions within the Maine Democratic Party. Myself and another Our Revolution Maine leader got elected to the executive committee with 3 other progressive people. We got progressives elected to our finance committee, our grievance committee. So these are all advisory roles to the party in Maine. So we are hoping to see, progressives have a better voice in the Maine Democratic Party, and we are building allies within the party with other Democrats that maybe we didn't think were as progressive, but when you find a common ground and you find an issue that everybody agrees on, like public transportation, stuff like that, you can come together with people. So we're building allies there, and we're also building allies with other grassroots organizations around the state to help, build a more progressive party in Maine and get more progressive legislation passed. So basically, my only thing is to say, if you want to be part of the party, do it. Organize from within. We were a very small group of people who got so much done in this last election cycle that it just amazes me every day. So reach out, find our Rev group near you, see how you can be part of creating a more progressive party in your state.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. We are one of the few groups that organizes within the Democratic Party, pushing elective progressives to the very top. So we thank you for the work being done there. We want you guys to know tonight, before we leave this call, we're calling on Joe Biden and the new DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, to support progressives for key positions in the DNC. There are over 100 open leadership spots, and progressives deserve, I think we've earned it, y'all, a seat at the table. To sign that campaign and sign on to help with that, you can go to the link being posted in the chat. You can also visit us at our website, and we'll post those across platforms. Thanks again, Megan. Mike.
And Christy, I got some breaking news. Getting reports back from Act Blue Central. Donations are being made. People are signing up to join Our Revolution 2021 Movement Builder, the Movement Builder membership program. Dozens of people have signed up tonight already. So as we wrap this call up, please join tonight. Let's get this rolling. Let's get this membership campaign off to a strong start. Let's keep on organizing and rocking in the free world as we head into February and beyond. So please, again, sign up one more time tonight. If you haven't had a chance to hop on there yet, become a movement builder with Our Revolution. I just want to point out one more point. You'll be sent a membership card in the mail. And that membership card is being designed by Lauren Rowling, who is not only an international artist, she is an Our Revolution member in Tennessee, in Nashville. She's a great organizer, a great artist. She designed a Bernie sticker for us. So you'll get an original piece of art from her as your membership card coming up here as soon as we get a final design done. So that's what, hang out with Our Revolution, organize, meet some cool artists, get some cool art. Let's make this happen and have a huge kickoff to our membership drive this year. Wayne's asking, how do I sign up? Just right above you, Wayne, in the chat room, click on that link. That will take you to the membership drive link. And Christy, back to you.
That's right, Mike. That short link to become a member for those listening by phone is ourrev.us/2021 member. You can also just visit the website to find that link there. That's ourrev.us/2021 member. So thank you to everyone who's already given in our first 2021 membership drive. We are going to continue quickly through the call. We want you guys to know we still have to end the filibuster in our Fix the Senate campaign. You can find out more at ourrev.us/fixit. We absolutely want to encourage and push the administration left. We want Biden to use executive power to break up corporate monopolies and reverse Reagan-era antitrust policies. You've heard that before, but we need to make sure that we're solid on this, and we're continuing that work. You can sign that pledge if you have not done so at act.ourrevolution.com. So you can find that where you're at. Please make sure, if you have not become a member yet, visit our website. If you're joining us by phone, use your hands. With these hands, y'all, you can hit *3 to find out more and be connected with an operator. We end every call at Our Revolution with a traditional chant, and we intend to do that state by state. Thanks to everybody who's joining us, all of our volunteers, all of our donors, all of our ground level grassroots organizers. And I will say, when we organize,
we win.
We win.
When we organize,
We
win.
thank you, everyone. There are thousands of us on the call. Imagine you're at a live rally with thousands of people. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next Monday night and at your local chapter meetings.
Woo.